PK here. To start off Season 4, I thought I would review not so much a video game console, but an improvement on an old video game console. That improvement is the Blinking Light Win. I have installed my Blinking Light Win on this NES here, which already happened to be blue because I had painted it blue at some point. And it was kind of like a first paint, and it's kind of gotten dirty because I never did anything with it. But anyways, originally I thought, well, maybe I'll do like a installation of it, but then I realized everybody on YouTube has already done that, actually. And the creators of the Blinking Light Win, ArcadeWorks, actually did one, and it's supposed to take only like 5 minutes. Yeah, it takes about 25 to 35 minutes, give or take, depending on how used you are to doing this, I guess, or how quick you are. So that was one thing, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. Well, first of all, what is the Blinking Light Win? The Blinking Light Win is a 72-pin connector. As many of you probably know, most NESs have, well, all NESs have a 72-pin connector built into them. What's unique about this one is it doesn't press down. It's basically turns your front-loading NES into one that you don't actually have to physically push down, which is really cool. Not only that, the reason it's called the Blinking Light Win is because it basically it disables the component. You know how oftentimes your Nintendo will, if you put in a cartridge and it isn't working, it'll start blinking. This stops it from blinking, which is pretty cool. And I believe you can actually play some PAL region games. I don't know how that works exactly. But anyways, so rather than do like an installation of it or show it in action, I'm going to do something a little bit different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what a cartridge being put in and out of it looks like compared to other Nintendos, and I got one clone system here. Well, first off, let's start with this right here is a traditional NES. It's kind of old, and it has not had its pins moved back or anything like that. So naturally, when you shove a cartridge in, it pins down and comes out very quickly because it's so loose, because the pins inside are so bent. And this was just a copy of Mario Brothers Duck Hunt, and I'm going to do the same thing with my repro card of Battletoads and Double Dragon. See how this one works. Obviously, as you can see, it slides right in and out with no resistance. Same if I put in Dragon Warrior 2. Yeah. Now I'm going to show you guys what it looks like with a... Here's a Nintendo, another one that I actually didn't paint this one. In fact, I probably overpaid for it. This one has had its pins actually bent back. And we'll see what happens here. Here's Dragon Warrior again. As you see, it's a much more thicker fit tight. It's much tighter than it would be versus having an NES that didn't have the pins bent back. Same can be done with this copy here. Obviously, there's a bit of a tight squeeze, but it still comes out just fine. And the reason I did it with 3 different games is because I've noticed like the ROM board actually is a little thicker or thinner. I've noticed, kind of, slightly. And next up, we'll do it with the Blinking Light Win. Let's see, will this be as hard to get out as the other one? Yeah, that one was really tough to get out compared to the other one. But maybe this is the way I'm holding it too. Now this one came out very quickly, and I think the board might be a little thinner, like maybe a millimeter of a millimeter thinner. I don't know. I'll take Dragon Warrior 2. That one actually slid out not too bad. So far, the one with the pins bent back has been the easiest to pull out, but, well, not as easy as the original with not the pins back, but it's still been a little slightly easier to pull out than compared to this, than the Blinking Light Win NES. Now let's check out, this is a clone console. This is from Gamers Tech, the 8-bit entertainment system. I'd actually planned on doing a review for this, and then I lost all the footage. That was so disappointing. But anyways, let's check out and see how this one compares to the Blinking Light Win as far as having a death grip. Ugh! Okay, so far that has a much bigger death grip. let's put it like the clone system in. Oh! This thing definitely has more of a death grip on your cartridges than this thing. This thing actually is quite good, honestly. And again, like I said, when you put a cartridge in here, you don't have to worry about it, you know, blinking several times. Hence why it's called the blinking light one. And honestly, the way it was designed, basically, yeah, it's very easy installation. It's just like installing any other 72-pin connector, you know, except it's got this little board, extra board or whatever, which is what disables the, I believe it's the 10NES chip, I want to say. Anyways, would I recommend the blinking light win? Yes. Now, here's one of the downsides. When I ordered this blinking light win, obviously, you know, this thing was funded on Kickstarter, and there's all kinds of stories going around how people who had funded it got theirs later than some people that ordered it on the internet. I'm not sure about all that, honestly, but so that's not great. But I ordered this back in July and didn't get it till like January, I want to say. January or February. It took me 6 months to get this thing. Was it worth waiting for 6 months? Kind of, yes. I mean, it's pretty good. Another thing to mention too is this is from the reason part of it took so long is because they had got, with their second batch, one of the biggest complaints was that the system had a bit of a death grip on the cartridges, so they fixed that so it didn't have as big a death grip. And honestly, my advice to you is if you do get a blinking light when you get the that type of 72-pin connector, I highly recommend taking a Game Genie and pulling it in and out of it like 5 or 6 times, honestly, and you should be fine. Because the very first game I put on there, it did have a bit of a death grip, but then it's kind of loosened up a little bit after a while, which is really, really good. Oh yeah, the first cartridge I ever put in, which wasn't a very good cartridge, I had to use some pliers to take it out, so I thought that was kind of ridiculous. Overall, would I recommend the blinking light wing? Definitely, I think. It's very effective and works really well. So, anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and keep on gaming.